Hey everyone, it's Lise. Welcome back to the channel where I like to talk about all things personal finance. And today I'm talking about 5 life practices to adopt to get to wealthy status. Picking a journey to get to wealth status usually comes for different reasons. Most of the time it's because of necessity, and oftentimes it's out of interest. For me, it was necessity. Let me know in the comments if this too was your reason or if it was for something else, because it's not always necessity. And while I'm not wealthy yet, pursuing it has changed my life for the better and made it more at ease. Some examples of that is that I have assets that are growing. In college and in my youth, I didn't have assets and I didn't have access to assets like that I would think that are coming to me. Another thing is that I don't have debt. My first decade of working, I did accrue debt to be able to work the job that I was working, but I've since paid that off, and that's because I have been studying how the wealthy get to where they're at, and they don't tolerate a lot of debt, or they tolerate it more strategically. And another thing that has made my life more at ease is that I don't make decisions based on finances all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that was a childhood dream of mine, because most people who come from a low socioeconomic status, they do what they need to do because they don't have money in the bank. They take jobs that they don't like. They live in neighborhoods that they don't like. And they even hang out with people that they may not like because of them not having money. And I have seen that in this journey so far, even though I'm not technically wealthy, that has already changed. So then that leads me to so what is wealth, right? Like, what's the definition? And how is it that I know that I'm not wealthy even though I'm attaining to it? I looked it up, because off the top of your head, you think it's a lot of money. And that's only part of it. The definition of wealthy is an abundance, and it's abundance of money. It's also an abundance of property, and it's also an abundance of goods. All of that is what entails money. And it's what entails wealth. And I'm on the track, but I can't say that I'm wealthy because I don't have all 3 of those yet. I'm not at that chemistry titration point where once you reach that point, it's up and stuck from there. Like, there's no coming back. It's irreversible. I'm still building to get to that point where it's exponential. And in my studying of the wealthy, I have observed 4 life practices that I have watched help them and have since helped me that I want to share. The first life practice that the wealthy adopt is that they pick modesty over extravagance almost all the time. You can also look at it from whether they're conservative or liberal. I find that wealthy people are more conservative, at least with their money. And on the outside looking in, it looks like to me that it's just a way of prepping for life storms, because storms are going to come. You don't fix the roof on a rainy day, you fix it on a sunny day. And things that I've just seen that the wealthy do is from visual standpoints, they wear high quality things, but they're not labeled down from head to toe. And then things macroeconomic wise is that they move their investments. They are conservative. And that's what oftentimes causes the stock market to crash. Because the people who have a lot of money, if they see an inkling of things not going the way, they pull their investment. And then everybody else panics. But they're the ones they're the haves. They have it to move. And that modesty in protecting what they have is what preserves what they have. And if you are like me, trying to get to that status, I have found that modesty has propelled me. When I could do things, I didn't always do them. I kind of reserved what I had just in case for other things that might come up that I didn't know what they were, but I knew they were coming, and it has helped me every time. An example of when I bought this house, I was approved for, I think, $450,000. I didn't even I think I got a third of that, because that just seemed like a lot to me. And as much as I wanted to be a homeowner, I did not want to lose the home, because a bank will give you a loan at that high qualification, and they do that because they know they can always take that back, which is angering to me. They make money anyway. They make money off of you buying a home you can afford, or if you buy a home that you can't afford. The second life practice that I see wealthy people make is they pick long-term results over short-term results 9 out of 10 times. in my mind, to simplify it, that tells me that if you have two options in a decision you have to make, that means you're going to more often than not pick the hardest option, because the hardest option is always the one that's going to lead you off into a better situation in the long term. The hardest option probably involves delayed gratification. It probably requires discipline, but anything worth having is worth the work, and you're so much happier when you pick the better decision for you, even though it was more painful, than picking the quick and dirty version and you regret it. And more than likely, you're going to have to just do the more work, because you're going to go back to doing what you know you should have done in the first place, or you're just going to live your life in regret. So as someone who is trying to attain wealth, when I see wealthy people pick long-term results over short-term, that has helped me make sure that I'm not hasty. I think about things before I do them, and if it requires me to make an immediate decision, then I just don't make it. And I say no thank you, because I don't believe in being rushed. Good example is I went to go diamond shopping, and they were super nice to me when you walk into the door. But when I told them, like, I'm not making a purchase, the lady spent like maybe 10 more minutes with me. And at first my feelings were a little hurt, but I was like, she knows she's not going to sell for me, and I'm no longer worthwhile to her, right? I was okay with that though, because I was not going to let her pressure me into buying fine jewelry and being unhappy with it because I didn't do my due diligence, and she was just trying to get her sale for her quota. Not happy. The third thing that I see the wealthy do, as far as like a life practice, is that they enjoy, but they never get comfortable. And for me, as someone who's trying to get to that status, it's about wasting nothing, wasting no opportunity that comes across your way, and kind of always being busy. Now, I am an advocate for rest, but you can have calculated busyness while you're resting. For me, that means sometimes having two jobs or two income sources. It doesn't have to be two jobs, but focus on getting an income source. So that means if you have a job, like in my particular situation, I have a job, but I recently last year started dividend investing. It is a small source of income. It's only $4 a month right now, but I'm hoping in 10 years it'll be $400 a month, and in 20 years it'll be $800. But you waste no opportunity. It can be getting a second job. It could be reading books, especially if you're ignorant of how wealth works and you want to get better at personal finance. It can be reading. The first years out of college, I just read a lot of financial literacy books. And then I ventured into YouTube videos. Another thing is having conversations. Wealthy people, they have a big network, and they just talk to people from all walks of life. Sometimes they're walks of life, often they're walks of life, but they have conversations. And that's why I will talk to anybody who will listen to me about money, and not necessarily their financial situations, but bouncing ideas from people. And if there is someone who I find that is interested in what I'm saying, we just talk and talk and talk, because we probably don't have a lot of people we can talk to about building wealth. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're attaining to get to that status, you don't have the network that the wealthy people already have. Because when you're built into a wealthy family, you start having those conversations with that silver spoon in your mouth. And I'm not mad at silver spoons. I hope my baby has a silver spoon. But I'm saying, like, sometimes even having conversations to strangers or people who you know are interested in money and putting yourself in those spaces, that's part of wasting nothing and enjoying, but never getting comfortable. Another life practice that I see the wealthy do day in, day out is that they follow a budget. And a budget is simply making your dollar have a job, but it's making each and every dollar you come across have a job. And you oftentimes don't think that the wealthy have budget, but they do. I came across knowing that when, this is a long time ago, but I was shopping at one of the high-end malls in, let's say, South Beach, and I guess the representative could tell I was a little uncomfortable because these are like the phenomenally high stores are there, and I was looking at fine jewelry, and she was like, what's your budget? And I told her, and she was like, don't ever feel uncomfortable about having a budget, because let me tell you something, I deal with a lot of wealthy people, and wealthy people have budgets. And one key thing about them that keeps them wealthy, this is what the sales rep told me. She said they stick to their budget. So even if they have $1 million budget and they came in for some diamond earrings, and that set of diamonds earrings was 1.2, they walk away from it and they have no qualms. They don't lie to themselves and say they can afford it. The budget is $1 million. They're not going above $1 million. So us as people who are trying to get to that status, we need to, number one, be comfortable with the budget, know what our budget is, and be comfortable with walking away with stuff when it's not in that said budget. And the last life practice that I see wealthy people practice day in and day out is that any extra money that they come across, they use it to make themselves more money. For whatever reason, I see them as always wanting to flip their money. Especially when you're at the wealthy status, I don't see them having so much pleasure in consuming. They're more so pleasured in investing that money and making it have more money. And then consuming that they eventually do is just a byproduct of it because they have already made more money in the interim. And once they've reached that status, I don't think that mentality ever leaves them. And I think for someone who's trying to get to that status like me, it's something that I have to develop so that when I do get to that status, it's second nature to me. Like, oh, I have extra money. I'm not going to buy another BMW X5. I am going to find a avenue to invest it in, whether it is bonds, oil tycoons, something. Because once you're wealthy, you have access to other investment opportunities that the poor people don't have access to. Prime example of it is not even 24 hours ago, I discovered that the high-end real estate market in a lot of metropolitan cities is doing well. And that was surprising to me because we know that housing is doing bad, especially in Florida. But mind you, some Florida cities are amongst the cities where like it is 30%, 40%, 50%. And why is that? Because the wealthy people are seeing the stock market as not a good venture. And they're like, okay, where can I put my money? And their financial advisor is saying, okay, we're not going to use that asset. Let's put it into this asset. They are in a whole completely different ballgame than us peons, or us non-wealthy peons. And it's just amazing to me that they can still flourish. You know why? Because any extra money that they have, they're always finding a way to have it make them extra money. So yeah, those are my thoughts on wealthy people and some things that they do to get to where they are. And I'm here for all of it. I will say that I am not there though. I still get comfortable. And I'm not the best at always using my extra money to make me more money. Sometimes I go get me a facial or take myself out to eat. But each day, even though we're not perfect, we're always moving forward and we're always bettering ourselves, whether it is learning something new about something that we don't know, or we are mastering things that we know and we just want to get better at it. Let me know in the comments if there are any other attributes that you have noticed about wealthy people that you want to share. Please share them with me because, you know, I'm obsessed with like how to get to our bag. And thank you guys for hanging out with me this week, and I will see you guys next week.